Okay. Welcome to another episode of You're Where with Who. In today's episode, we're sitting down with Steven. Oh, we already forgot.
Vizirov.
I look.
Listen,
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Great. It's crazy. You just told me to, and I just forgot it.
no, it's okay. It's a tough one. I get it. I get
Viz-
it. It happens a lot. I'm used to it.
Vizirov. Welcome to.
Vizirov, there you go. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Of course.
Nice. So, as a way to get started, going to first do like get a little understanding of how you first ventured into music, overall. I know that's kind of a broad question, but I think we could take it from there and pack a lot of things
Yeah,
and
for sure.
start the conversation.
Yeah. So I feel like I've been like just singing kind of all my life. I picked up my guitar at a pretty young age. My brother's 12 years older than me. So he always had a guitar laying around and I was just always just so much better than him. Um, and he will, out of everything in life right now, that's the only thing he will ever admit to.
Really?
Um, but yeah, like I was, and I still do this, but like even in like class and stuff and like elementary school, middle school, whatever, I'm always just like humming and singing. Like even during tests, it's like a problem. I might have to go get checked out for something. I don't know. But kind of just like always loved doing it. Um, and I guess, in college I started like actually making my own music. I guess I started that in high school too, but like didn't really take it as seriously. College hit, then I performed like a few gigs, like some bars and restaurants, and then some venues. Um, you know, made my own EP. There was one called Cheryl. Funny story behind that one. One called With Great Power. And then I graduated from college, stopped making music because real life started happening, and I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta focus.
That's it. Yeah.
Um, and years later, this is where it gets a little sad. But last year I lost my job, and so I've kind of been like freelancing like since. So kind of doing everything I can to get work, but in between then when I have some downtime, there was a 6 month span before I had any type of work, which was really tough. So I wrote two EPs. One was called Music My Brother Might Actually Listen To, and the other called Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitors, which is SSRIs for, code name for
I
antidepressants.
wanted to ask all
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so luckily I made some music for that too, but a pretty decent gap since since I kind of wrote those before, and then kind of been performing here and there, still writing, and trying to be proactive as much as I can and productive, even though it's a little tough sometimes. But yeah, so that was it in a nutshell. That's my little journey.
Well, we got
That's awesome.
we got first introduced to you through our friends that we've already gotten a chance to speak to on the podcast, Dom and Jesse,
Oh yeah,
through their MilkBoy show.
yeah,
We were just speaking the other day to the lovely Brook Falls as
Yep.
well.
yep,
So it's like
okay,
we got the opportunity to get introduced to all of you guys through that.
yeah. Were
You
you
guys,
guys there?
yeah,
We were.
we were out in the audience. I know, isn't it so fun where like worlds intertwine?
Hey Steven, nice to meet you. No, nothing. Crazy,
Well, we were,
insane.
we're so popular that we were just like
No,
floating around signing autographs, It's
Yeah.
listen. And me, I was like sweating, trying to like find my mom. And no, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
well, we ended up there because Dom and Jesse were actually the like pilot to our second season that we got
Okay.
introduced to them. So
Oh wow.
we were able to do our interview with them, and then they had told us that Milk Boy was happening. So of course, like
Yeah.
we're both, well, now Usman has abandoned me and he's back in New Jersey, but I'm still in Philly. I know, right? Like shame on him.
Horrible decision.
Well,
I lived in Jersey for like 10-ish years. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah.
all
If
right.
you, that was by choice, brother. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm
I
not
just
kidding, but I'm
grew
kidding.
up in New Jersey, so I'm with you.
Well,
It's not
Jersey's
my
the best
personal
state.
favorite, but
Jersey's the best state.
okay, all right. I disagree with that. That's
Oh
gonna
boy,
be that's gonna go
that's
viral
episode 2.
alone for you saying Jersey's the best state. But I'm just gonna leave that there. We're gonna pretend you didn't say that, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
move with what I was saying. You did an awesome job.
thank you,
You
thank you.
you were so great. I think it's amazing that the show sold out as
Yeah.
well. We were chatting
Yeah,
with her about this, like 200 tickets, I think she said, which is just
and then
incredible.
some. Yeah, Dom and Jesse, first of all, like two of my really good friends, and super grateful for them for even asking me to hop on there. Like honestly, like there's no better feeling than um the feeling of like appreciation or like feeling appreciated, and then like not only in like that case, but like not only did I think I was good enough, I was so happy to open up. Like I didn't care where I was in this. Like I was just like, I think at one point, like I think I mentioned everybody else in the order, like Brooke, Anthony, and Dom and Jesse. I don't even think I ever introduced myself, which is probably like it's probably bad, but like I just had so much fun. And the fact that also, the show, I was opening the show, the fact that there were already that many people there,
Yeah.
granted, like a lot of people I knew as well, which is really nice, like friends and family and randoms, supporting. It's a great feeling, but like it was, oh, I had so much fun. And I'm definitely upset that you guys didn't say anything. It's
Well,
crazy.
That was our first introduction to you. So like
yeah.
Yeah,
we were in the audience there because we knew Dom and Jesse had just met them
yeah,
recently.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that was our first like we don't know who this is. And I think Us and I have talked so much about like we're not musicians ourselves, but just the music community in this city is something that I think is so special. And you meet so many amazing people,
yeah,
connections
for sure.
through it. And so don't be don't be too offended at us.
No, no,
Because
no.
we saw you and we were like, oh, we need to like try to talk to him. Like maybe he'd be interested in doing the pod and telling us
Of
like
course.
what he's doing.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate that.
of course. And I mean, obviously we know from that you play guitar.
Mhm.
How'd you get into playing guitar? Was that just like as a child was your choice?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. So, yeah, my brother, it's funny because I remember this vividly and I was so young, but my brother had a black, I think it was like an Ibanez electric guitar. And still to this day, like he even tells his daughters, he has 3 daughters. Every time I pick up his guitar, he's like, "Oh, Steven picked up my guitar and he broke it." And all I did was like I broke a string, and I'm pretty sure I may have actually somehow broken it as well. But since then, yeah, worst brother of all time. But yeah, so that's kind of like where it started. Like, I think the first thing I ever learned was the same thing. I was like, da, 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 da,
That's smoke on the
um, it is Smoke on the Deep Purple, yeah. And then I think like second thing I learned, which was a pretty crazy upgrade, was he taught me how to play Enter Sandman, which is also a pretty like that's a pretty
crazy.
good one, but that's
Yeah.
not like bang bang bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, so since then, I only have my one guitar. At one point I had two. But like when I needed to, I had to. Maybe now I'll have to get another
You
one.
broke the second one or no?
Uh, no, I sold it. It was actually really cool. So I used to play, so I have my guitar here. So this is a Taylor GS Mini, and it's like technically like a mini size guitar, but it's not like mini. So like my biggest inspiration in music is and always has been Ed Sheeran. I mean, you guys saw like the loop pedal I performed with as well. Kind of I love the style. I think it's so fun, and I can get creative and yeah, just kind of keep it like where I can control everything on stage, right? To an extent, because if I mess up, I mess up, and it's like, oh crap. But um, yeah. So with that, I actually used to have. So before he now has to deal with Loudon, which is like another guitar manufacturer, and has his own like line and stuff. But before then, he was playing Martin guitars, and he had like the Martin Mini. So I had one of those basic ones, and then I had for his album Plus, I had a special edition one. So I used to play those and like have different tunings and whatever. So, um, yeah, ever since then, I've kind of just been like, instead of trying to be Ed Sheeran, I'm trying to be me with a hint of Ed Sheeran, you know? I call
I
myself like the mid-level.
yeah, I
I love
saw on your Instagram what you've
Yeah.
recently been posting. We're doing what is it? Just
it.
like
Oh,
a one of as however many days it takes for Ed Sheeran to comment or collab with
listen, whatever works. I first of all, and I'm gonna get a lot for this, but I'm not the biggest fan of social media. Okay, it's funny because I
me.
like work in advertising for a living, and like I'm a writer, and I work like on ads and marketing, but I don't really have like the best ideas to market myself. Like I'm like, okay, cool, I can show like loop videos, I can do covers. That's boring. And so I'm like, you know what? I know almost every Ed Sheeran song, so let me just like do it until he acknowledges my existence.
Yeah.
And nothing might come from it ever, but it's cool. And so like I'm on like I think today was day 4. We got ways to
Well,
go.
that's nothing. I mean, he might see this when the podcast releases,
That's
and
right.
he might jump on and do that collab with you.
It'd
So,
be awesome.
yeah. What do you think if Ed Sheeran were to, I don't know, so many celebrities like actually use their TikToks and social medias and do
Yeah.
interact with people. So it totally could happen, and I definitely hope it does. But what would your like dream collab look like with him?
I mean, dream collab would. I mean, if I'm shooting for the stars, we write
Yeah,
and
we
work on
love
a song
shoot.
together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I don't know. Like I think if he even like acknowledge, like not just acknowledges, because I'm sure like sometimes people like open it and just see random stuff because like we go on our timelines on TikTok, whatever, and
Yeah.
we see random stuff, whatever. But like people, for example, like for example, like you guys were like, oh, like we would love to have him on like the podcast, whatever, which like that means a lot to me, right? If you guys thought I was crap, you wouldn't have like done that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if let's say if he like commented, he would never have to actually do that. But then he'd be like, okay, this guy does me a little justice. I'd be like, sick. I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah.
It's almost like the acknowledgement. It's like I know I'm
Yeah.
good, but then having Ed Sheeran comment on the post, validating that I'm good. Like, all right,
It's like a
yeah,
golf clap. I'll take a golf clap, you
Yeah.
know?
I feel like you could probably get more than a golf clap. That's
yeah.
you're aiming
I'll
too.
take I'm taking what I can get. I'm getting some comments here. I for whatever reason, like here's the issue with this like thing because I have to do this like every day, right? Like I have to be consistent. I actually got to get it done if I'm going to build. So I have like people who like follow me, like commenting, I'm here for the journey. And then for whatever reason, today's cover, I posted shirtless, and I got like, and for like no reason other than just like I was just
Right.
shirtless in my apartment. But
Yeah.
then I realized I looked like a hoe, and I was like, damn. And then I really realized I looked like a hoe when somebody on YouTube, because like I uploaded to like YouTube Shorts, was like,
Yeah.
please put a shirt on, and I was like, damn, do I really look that bad without a shirt? Like,
Oh no.
and I commented back, somebody stole them. So but like I'm trying to be like I can't wear the same thing every day. Not that I would, but like I guess I probably could have put like a shirt on. Whatever. Fine.
I
Save me.
mean, I think that speaks to the whole like organic making music, enjoying your day to day. You're walking around without a shirt on. Like, okay, that's how I'm recording this. Get over it. Like,
So really funny actually. So my song La Jolla, that was the one I opened up with at
Mhm.
MilkBoy.
Yeah.
Um, so I recorded that actually originally. Like I record and produce and mix everything by myself in my apartment. I have my friend Matt who sometimes helps me. Like Dom
Yeah.
helps me a lot. Like with just random things.
Mhm.
But um, I was having some issues with. I use Logic. I was having some issues with my computer at the time with Logic, and it was like crashing, whatever. So I have a few friends named Sam and Ethan who actually own a studio. They soft launched it, but it's called Freezer Studio. Shout out, there's a plug. They'll love me for that.
Yeah.
And it was just me and Sam. And for whatever reason, it's like, here's a really nerdy reference. Like when Goku goes like Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, when I I record, I'm a perfectionist. So I'm like always recording, like trying to get it right. Like I don't use like what's it called, pitch correction, like auto tune, like
Yeah.
very minimal, if anything, just for the whatever. I think I was in there, supposed to be in there for like an hour just to fix something, and I think I re-recorded the whole song, and every take was bad until I took my shirt off, and it was like bang. So I just gotta keep being a hoe. That's what that means.
It's your lucky charm, apparently, the shirtless recording.
I have no idea what to call it other than like shame. You know?
Shame.
Yeah.
If
Oh
Ed
my God.
Sheeran comments on this video because of the shirtlessness, then we really know it works, right?
But then I'm like,
Deep sigh.
is it like is it my voice or is it the sex appeal? Like,
You would have to ask Ed Sheeran.
and he wouldn't reply because if I get one message, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. No
That's
follow-ups here.
No follow-up.
Have you
Well,
have you
tell
seen
us.
him perform live?
I have. I think I've seen him 4 times. Because
Oh,
it's like okay, that sounds crazy, but like, it's like a learning experience for me.
yeah.
Because every time he's performed, it's been different. It's been different music, and he's looped, for example, things in different ways. The tough and kind of like more fun thing about writing music for me personally, and I'm assuming like for like Ed or people who use loop like in different like capacities, whatever, is when I write a song, I produce it, I have all the production behind it on Logic, whatever, right? And then I have to rewrite that song on my loop pedal. So it's like a whole different thing. So like when I see like he implements a new element, whether it's like the percussion or just like different ways of going about it, like that's like a learning thing for me. So I go out to those concerts not to only enjoy because I love his music, but like just to learn too. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know, it's fun for me like that.
No, I get that. So I saw him for the first time this past June in Italy.
Really?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, no. I was there
I didn't even
for
know about this. What?
yeah. It was like a surprise birthday present for my girlfriend.
Oh
And
yeah. Good girlfriend.
yeah. And Sharon could put on a show. Like it started downpouring and he took his shirt off. It's like, hey, at least it's warm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, he kept going. So it may be a sign. It may be a sign where he made this drop in emoji of like a shirtless man on your video, and that's it. And you just know.
All I gotta do is just get the same tattoos and everything to just look exactly like him. Color my hair. Oh God.
And, that's
But
all
that's amazing. Did you have a good time there? Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was awesome.
Wait, so you were in Italy. So was he playing? Do you remember this venue? Was it like the San Siro,
It was
like where AC Milan play?
it was Luca. Luca, like an hour west of Florence.
Mm.
It was like
Was it like I'm assuming a big like outdoor arena, right? Like
yeah, it
for
was
like a soccer
very
team.
nice. I would say maybe easily 100,000 people were there.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Well,
crazy. It's like
so
what Travis Scott did the other day too.
yeah,
I don't
something
know if you
very
guys saw that.
yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, where did he perform?
It was also in Italy, but he had like 85,000 people, and you know how Travis Scott
Yes.
does his thing. So there was like 80,000 people just moshing,
Insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
which is crazy, but it looked incredible from thousands and thousands of miles away,
Yeah.
aka TikTok.
Is there anybody else that you would love to see perform live that maybe you just love their music or you would also want to learn from that you haven't
Yeah,
just see?
yeah. Honestly, so like I also love like Louis Capaldi. Like I think his story is really cool. The way he battles through kind of like the whole Tourette's thing and kind of how that comes into play sometimes. Like he had to take a break. I don't know if he's back performing, but he had to take a break from performing because um his Tourette's would just kind of interfere. And like I don't have Tourette's, but like like I think it's interesting because I'm a very like stressed and anxious person at all times, and I'm like I feel like I'm always going through something where like always interferes, but for whatever reason, like whenever I hop on stage or I'm performing, it's kind of like like I'm just like in my own little universe, and like I forget about everything, and not to sound like whatever, but like for example, like on that stage at MilkBoy, there were so many people. I wasn't nervous. Like I don't get nervous to perform because I just love doing it. Granted, if I was in a crowd of 80,000 people, I'd probably shit my pants. But like I, oh, can I curse? I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's
All right.
fine.
All right. I guess I also called myself a hoe like 6 times, but
Totally fine.
um, but so I would say like seeing how he kind of like battles that like is inspiring in a way as well. But he's also just such a good performer and just such a good voice. Honestly, I haven't seen Taylor Swift. I won Taylor Swift pre-sale tickets and gave them to my nieces and my
Oh,
brother and his wife. It's like
That's nice.
they love it. But like just to see how like that experience is would be really cool. Um, I'm trying to think of who else. Like I don't know. Like I feel like I just saw Drake perform, but like I think it's different because he kind of just like I feel like, and this is no disrespect at all, but like it's like most rap or like
Hmm.
like with backtrack and stuff, like it's more so the challenge of putting on a show with just holding a microphone, which I think is an art in itself, but it's like harder for me to relate because I'm multitasking at all times. So I'm like try like but like also like there are times where I feel like, if I'm looping and I have a track and I'm trying to talk to the crowd, I could probably be a little bit more like walking around. Granted, at Milk Boy, I didn't have much room because everybody's equipment
no,
was,
no,
including mine.
it
So,
was very packed
um,
in there.
yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's something to learn from like interaction and like stuff like that. Like, so like seeing Drake was really cool for many reasons because I know his entire catalog as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think on
Well,
the
we
top of my head, off the top, yeah,
well,
go ahead.
sometimes think of artists that also use a guitar while they perform in occasion.
So I am not the biggest Post Malone fan.
And I
Yeah,
did
no, no, no,
just
no, no, no.
recently see him.
So not like so I. He seems like a really nice guy.
Hmm.
Seems like a really cool dude too. And I would probably like it'd probably be fun to hang out with him, but excuse me, I never like got into his music.
Mhm.
Um, and that's again with no disrespect, not that he's cares about my opinion, but like, I just like I think it's one of those things I have to grow. But I also like love the new stuff he's been putting out, like with Morgan Wallen, the new Luke Combs song. I
Yeah.
think that's where it's getting towards like me starting to not appreciate because I appreciate what he does anyway, but in a different way.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know.
No, I get
I'm
that.
gonna
And
I'm gonna hate for that.
No,
no, no, no,
no.
no. I think I agree. That makes sense. I'll say most of his recent stuff probably relates to you a little bit more because it is a
Yeah,
little bit instrumental and he is using the guitar. Um, so I get your perspective as well. And because most of the stuff that was his early albums is more catered to like I'll say rap, which
yeah,
probably drew me in initially. And now I'm like,
yeah,
this is cool. This is like a new. He's introducing new genres to me as he evolves as the
for
artist.
sure. And it's funny because so like I said, like I love all kinds of music, literally everything. Like my favorite music to sing, believe it or not, is actually like R&B. Like Trey songs, like that shit is so funny to me that it's just so amazing to do. Um, like I don't know if you would consider like John Legend like soul or R&B or a mash between, but like one of my favorite artists, I've seen him twice. But like I also like listen to like Dipset and like Pusha T. So
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like I'm like all over. And like
Yeah.
I saw Pusha T like either last year or 2 years ago. Like Travis Scott's one of my favorite artists. Kanye is up and down for me. Um, but as an artist, like one of my favorites, like Pharrell, big inspiration to me production wise as well, talent wise, just in general. Um, like I'm all over the board. Um, with like other songs, like if I have like longer sets and stuff, I usually have like longer mashups. Where like I think one of my songs, I wrote a long time ago, either Nutmeg or For Nothing. I think I mashed up like Homecoming in there, and then like by Kanye,
Yeah.
like something else. So like I try to have fun with it because then people are like, oh, I don't know your song, but I know that one. Let me see
Aw.
what you can do. And then I'm just like skinny little white kid rapping Kanye on stage behind a guitar beat, and I'm like, sorry guys, you get what you get. You're here.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
so fun to mash up the genres like that. And I
yeah,
think we've had a lot of conversations with so many different artists recently about like the emergence of new genres. I feel like
yeah.
there's new genre. I listen to a lot of EDM. I listen to a lot of rap. I listen to a lot of like
Me
a lot of
too.
everything. But I'm like, I didn't even know that this was a genre. Somebody will say like, "Oh, I'm doing this subgenre," and I'm like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you listen to it and you're like, "Wait, this is dope." It's just the fact that I feel like it evolves
yeah.
or just coming up with like more and more stuff.
And then
Just
other stuff mashes up in between there too.
and then it all just
Like,
sounds together.
yeah,
Exactly.
like I literally played like at this coffee shop. I was there for like 2 hours or 3 hours, something like that. I think I sang like Lay Low by Tiesto. Like I did that like acoustically too. So it's just like anything like people would know, like I try to bring in there too.
Yeah.
Cause like honestly, like at the gym, I mean, I don't play like Ed Sheeran at the gym, right? Well, no, I don't. No, 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 no. But I've been like for the last like 3, 4 years, I've been listening to so much like UK rap.
Hmm.
And I had a crazy hyperfixation last year when Sprinter came out with Central C and Dave
Yes.
that I literally hold on. I don't even know if you can hear this. Wait, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Do you hear that? Like it's the
Yeah.
intro to
Yeah.
Sprinter. And I
Oh,
literally like for fun just like rapped the whole thing at one point. Like if it was bad, not bad because like I did the accent, which actually might make it even worse now that I think about it. But because like you can't not.
Yeah.
The man then shouldn't consider if I saw host like you can't not do it or else it's like weird. But then it's even weirder because I'm not anyway. Yeah,
That
I just yeah.
that song is fire.
I love it.
It
I
is.
Dave. I love Dave. I saw him live a couple of years ago when he came to Philly.
Just in Phil.
He was in Philly. Yeah. He was at the TLA. And the only reason like I knew of him because a friend of mine like listens loves British rap. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to the show. And then he kind of like forced like six of us to all buy tickets to go see Dave.
And
But
you
like
love it.
loved it. Loved it. Like I think we all knew like out of all of us, he knew all the songs, but I think all of us maybe knew two, and that was it.
Which ones?
It's
If you send me the location.
yeah,
Oh, that
location, yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
With Burna Boy.
And Burning Boy.
So
Yeah.
it was like that. It was like the one song I was waiting for the entire night, and then the crowd got hyped because it's the most
Oh
popular.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right, it's good. This is good. But
Yeah. He's awesome. Like yeah, I've been all on that wave. Him, Stormzy, Central C, all that, and then like yeah, it's just bad because I just don't stop. Because like, all right, I pride myself on being on the aux. I can read a room pretty well, very well, and I get compliments on my playlist, and I do a great job. That's the only thing I will not be humble about because I'm nice at it. But anytime like if I'm like around people like I don't know, I like testing the waters a little bit because I'll play
Mhm.
like if we're pre-gaming like the EDM and the popular like Shabuzi or whatever, like depending on the
yeah,
vibe.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'll drop in Sprinter and see how people react. And then some people are like, oh, And some people are like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, what the fuck are you? Like, what are you?
Please leave immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So,
it's fun.
Oh my God.
so I want to talk about a song that you released, Lotus.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I saw that you released it twice. There's like a dance version and then the original version.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
what's the backstory behind, I guess the original version, it was like, yes, this is actually going out, but the dance version, you want to have a little bit of fun. It looks
Yeah.
similar like, but I want
So,
to,
yeah, for sure. So, Lotus is actually one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and it has nothing to do with me. Um, so I was dog sitting at my brother's for about a week, and I had his guitar, just kind of messing around. And one night, I think I was like, I just got out of like an interview for like a job or whatever. And then one night I got three different phone calls from three different friends who all like called me for an hour each to like vent about something. Um, the first person, they all have one thing in common at the time, especially where they were all traveling, and felt very out of place where they were traveling, whether it was with somebody else, with some. I'm trying to keep it vague and not go like too into detail because I can go on forever about it. But one person was like going to like a happy hour or something with like all her friends, but she was feeling really upset because like she's from Canada and she was in New York and all those friends were like her like ex-boyfriend's friends and like she mingled with them, so she just felt really lonely and out of place and like sad about it. Another person called me who is from down south and was kind of here and trying to find their place here. And, you know, again, that lonely feeling. Um, so the third one was traveling. I think she was in like New Mexico at the time. Um, but she was like doing a solo trip and she was just feeling super lonely and just like trying to find her place. And I was like, holy shit. So, um, I took a few, one of the quotes I took directly from somebody was like, I am around all these people, but I feel so alone. And that's something I think a lot of people go through. You know, I go through that so much, you know, especially like I live by myself, you know, when I'm also like, you know, currently like constantly in a job hunt. So it's ongoing just feeling like the world's like closing in, right? Um, and so I think the first thing I wrote down was that line. But then I finessed a little bit. So like first verse starts off with like, I've been lost and there's no one to find me. Second verse starts off, I've been wait, now I'm like, hold on. I've been lost and there's yeah, sorry. So it's I've been lost and there's no one to find me. I've been lost and there's no one to guide me. No, hold on. Now I'm like, I'm like overthinking it now. There was one that was like, there's no one beside me, and then there's no one besides me. So I like started every kind of verse in that way. So the song has a lot of meaning to me because I wrote it about three people who I care very deeply about. You know, no matter how often or not often I speak to them because it's all stuff that we go through at some point, right? Whether you're feeling alone because you're by yourself, whether you're feeling alone because of heartbreak, um, get into that. And then, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, so I wrote that one and I was like, you know what? Why don't I ruin this song and make an upbeat version too? And like my production on that like upbeat version like wasn't great, but I added it anyway because I'm like, you know what? Let me fuck the whole vibe up of the whole slow ass EP with this upbeat song that makes no fucking sense at
yeah.
um. But I had that was like the first time I ever like actually no second time because I had a song I released like the last song before I stopped making music called "Say You Love," which was kind of like a housey vibe. No one really knows about it because I really didn't push it or whatever, but kind kind of going to like the housey EDM kind of vibe. But yeah, with that one, I think I failed absolutely miserably. But I come across and I'm like, yeah, it's not horrible, but it's like kind of it's fine. I still enjoy it.
Yeah,
But Lotus in itself means the world to me. So we can hold that version to that and just keep them separate entities entirely.
that's a good story.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
What can you tell us? Now I want to hear about the stories behind some of your other tracks. You touched on heartbreaks, and
Yeah,
obviously I, I've had my own, mental health experiences and definitely a past history with
yeah,
antidepressants being in my life personally, and bad anxiety. So that was something that when I came across that on your page, I wanted to ask you a little bit more. Like, is there
yeah,
anything you're comfortable with sharing about that story with us?
yeah. I'm an open book. I say it how it is. Like I kind of just so. Like for example, since I lost my job, it was like the first time I ever like lost my job without like me being the person to
To leave. Mhm.
move on, which is kind of interesting because in that time I also had my first experience of a breakup where I wasn't the breaker upper. So so much shit kind of like hit at once, right? But I think, and there's like one thing I'm trying to do is like try to stay positive, even though I feel like there's like not a lot to be positive about, even though that's a horrible way to think about. Like, but like I don't even know where to start with this because it's something that I've dealt with like all my life, like severely. Um, which is why like music really helps me because like I said, like when I go up on stage or if I'm singing, performing, I'm thinking about nothing else because I am entirely in this world of like bliss for however long. And that does not come often for me, unfortunately. Um, and it's something hopefully like I'll end up, growing out of. And I know some of it's situational, hopefully like, the job stuff works out, all this kind of stuff. But like when I'm trying to pursue my professional career and also trying to pursue my passion, like something I genuinely enjoy and love for the sake of just loving it. Um, it's really nice to have this as an outlet. Which like I love everything. Like I love video games, I love comics, I love music, I love like everything.
I saw
I
your,
am
not to take us off on a tangent, but I
yeah.
was cackling at your like professional website where you say like ever since you were younger, you said that you wanted to be Spider-Man ever since you were a child. You were like, do you have Spider-Man tattooed on you?
I told you.
I love it.
At least it's not Ed Sheeran.
yeah.
I mean, Ed Sheeran might not comment on your videos if you just have a bunch of tattoos of him, but
Then I would just be Stan. But yeah.
that's true. But no, I was cracking up reading that where you had the little link and you were like, LOL, like here's a link to my what, like my audition?
My audition tape and it's just my resume.
Yeah,
Yeah, listen. I
Uh,
gotta hook you in somehow.
that's
incredible.
smart.
I
Incredible.
gotta hook you in somehow. But yeah, but like that's like what it is. Like I cope through humor.
Yeah.
Like I have friends who are like, you should just do stand up. And my brother actually used to do stand up. He used to be at he used to when he was my age, like he would go to Helium right in like Rittenhouse.
Mhm.
Like he used to work with like Shane Gillis and like his crew, which is really
Good.
it's a
That's
fun flex.
awesome.
I'm plugging my brother right now. He stopped doing it, but so like I try to again like I try to stay positive. But it's still hard sometimes, most of the time, all of the time. Um, so like luckily like music is there. So like everything you hear in my music that I write is real. Like I have a song called Insecurities, which is funny because it might have been the fastest I've ever written a song. And it was right in the like beginning of me talking to the girl who ended up being who La Jolla in Mirrors is about. Um, and like it was literally just like the chorus was like, I hope you can take me as I am, because I may feel down and maybe out, but I'm doing the best that I can. Um, and I think that, actually Jesse, from Dom and Jesse, gave me a call 2, 3 weeks ago, randomly, and
Mm.
talked about the chorus of that song. He goes, dude, like, I want you to know that like this is like one of the best things like you've ever written or done, because it's like something that a lot of people won't say but relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like was talking to him and I was getting really emotional about it, because like going back, circling back to that like loneliness aspect and feeling alone, that's how I feel when I write my music. And while I know everybody goes through heartbreak, I know everybody goes through shitty moments in their life, whatever it is, like I've been through a lot. Like I know a lot of people who have all gone through their own things. Like I think it's really important to know that you're not alone in that. So when Jesse like even like brought it up to me and like acknowledged that like that fact, like it meant a lot for me too, because he said like it hit him. I hope he doesn't mind me doing this when he sees it. But like he said, it like hit home for him as well, because kind of in some days he like feels this and that. So unfortunately, it's one of those. It's a sad song that he related to, but like if somebody listens to something of mine and they relate and it really hits home for them, like that's me kind of being like, hey, I'm with you, and you're with me. And not to sound corny or anything, but like that's how it is, because like I write music for myself, but at the end of the day, like if it's for somebody else, it's for them too, and it's for us to like share together. Um, and that sounds really corny, but like I genuinely mean it, because it's when it comes to shit like that, like I mean, you hear horror stories all the time of I'm not even gonna bring it into existence, but like kind of stuff like that. So we all go through our insecurities, like we all go through our own stuff. So I think it's important for people to know they're not alone, even though they might always feel like they are. Hi, I'm Steven. I'm always feeling like I'm alone.
We honestly, it's such a.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes on the podcast, I'm so happy that we do this. Like I've
Mhm.
been through so much therapy in my life that I so many times like it's so good to just sit with friends and sit with other people and have that moment of like it's a shared experience to feel alone. Like
Yeah.
I've definitely felt it a fair share of my life.
Which is crazy to think
Like,
about.
it really is. Like when you think about the amount of human beings that are on this planet and that
Mhm.
everybody's kind of had that in one way or the other, like it really is crazy. Like coming off of, the lockdowns too, 2020, the crazy year that was, like it definitely all of it did a ton of damage in a
Yeah.
lot of different ways. We were actually just talking to Brooke about this the other day. We were talking about
Yeah.
it in the context of like content creation. And she was like, just put people don't think that they want to put something out because, maybe it's like your day-to-day life and you're thinking, "Oh, this isn't that like exciting or anything really crazy like who would want to see this?" But she made a really good point, I think, of like there's a lot of lonely people that are connecting to you through
Mhm.
Yeah.
that. And, do it for yourself, do it for them. Like it's a shared experience. So I think that's actually really beautiful.
Yeah. And it's funny because when it comes to like the social media aspect, like a lot of people who follow like my Instagram, or like a lot of people like I've known forever, like my friends. So like every time I post like, and I probably shouldn't think like this because like I hope people support no matter what. But like I feel like every time I post like my music or something, I'm like bothering the shit out of people, and like I hate that feeling. I hate social media in general. And the only reason I have it is because I have to get my music out somehow, right?
Yeah.
But like it's always like a surface level like pressure that I put on myself, which like I kind of do in every aspect. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what my point was with that, but like, it's also like a fun outlet too because like I love singing, so if I can just like record myself, like for one cover, because like I'm a perfectionist. Like if it's not good enough for me, like I'm going on. I can do like 30 takes of a cover. Don't tell anybody. So like before like I actually like post it because I'm like I hate that, I hate that, I hate that. And then there's like out of those 30, 19 of them are like me messing up a note and be like, oh, fuck. Like I could probably make a compilation of me saying, oh fuck. Like it's incredible.
I love that. You should
Um,
just release that.
Yeah, she
I
posted it.
might actually do that. That's a good idea.
Or
That's
Posted it.
content.
I do want a cut of the royalties from it, but we can talk about that later.
No, by all means, you can cut them all from this because
Okay.
I didn't know like halfway through this if I could say it, but you got a lot of fucks in there,
Okay.
including
We have,
that one.
we have a lot of funds here. Perfect. We're gonna monetize it.
So can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What made you guys start this podcast?
I'll let Usman answer this one first.
Yeah. So before starting the podcast, me and a couple of my friends, we used to throw events in Philadelphia. We had a group called the Impossible Group, and we'll book a venue, find local artists, similar to like Dom and Jesse's event. But like my team will kind of like manage everything. We'll book all the artists and then do all the promotion and coordinate everything with the venue, and then sell the tickets. We felt that it was a way for like up and coming artists to like give them a platform to showcase their talents, because usually that's like very difficult. There's not a lot of opportunities out there for them to like play their music in front of a live audience. Did that before COVID, during COVID, and it was going well, but we kept like breaking even. And trying to figure out different ways of like actually creating a little bit more content, because we wanted to move more towards the media platform. Um, and then obviously like personal things, like we all have personal lives, so we were like working our full-time job, trying to coordinate the events, and they both stepped away, but we're still all good friends. And then I like actually I pitched this idea to Katie at a music festival.
At a show, at an event.
Yeah, a music festival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I have this idea. Like, I want to start a podcast. I know you know music, like different genres. You'd be great to like have conversation with. And she's like, yes, I'm down, but let's like talk in 2 weeks. We're at a festival, so let's get
We're
back to
literally standing at a stage.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, idea. And I'm like, oos, yes, totally. But like, finish watching this performance.
There's no better time to ask somebody something when you know the answer is going to be yes,
Yes.
especially in those like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Remember when you said that then when you were probably like hammered or whatever it is? Like, oh yeah.
I think I
that
was
was the
like
case.
completely sober too, but we're like in the middle of
Even
it
better.
where I'm like, yes, absolutely. But like, I love this performer. Like, give me 20 minutes. And then we go, like, wait for him to get off the stage.
Dallas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But
But,
That's awesome.
yeah. It was,
Yeah, good.
he pitched it from my perspective. He had the initial company and he had the concept kind of lined up. I've always, much like you, I have like 3,000 things happening in my brain at all times, and I constantly am saying to myself, like, I have so many interests, and only having 24 hours in a day, it just kind of feels like being trapped in a cage when you're like, okay, I love this thing, but I love this, and how do I make it happen and have time to like sleep and eat and do normal things that I need to do? So I've been that way ever since I was a kid. And when I was growing up, I took piano lessons for maybe 10 years. I too played acoustic guitar. I don't know if you can see my nails from here. Like
Oh.
they're not, you get me. Like the nails are not acoustic guitar nails. Yeah, your nails do not.
I have no nails.
So you're able to play guitar comfortably. I was not. Didn't really go so hot for me. But I mean, I did I took vocal lessons when I was in school, when I was in high school and middle school. I know you're like, tell me more.
I'll play guitar for you right now. It's gonna be delayed, but I'll do it.
I don't know that you want to hear that right now, but we can see. We might have to link up for a track.
I mean, you probably are better because I've never taken lessons for anything, and I wish I did. But go ahead, keep going.
you know,
Hey, good
sometimes you don't need
song.
it. You know, sometimes I think for me, you know, my mom used no, no, absolutely not. We'll have no Steven Vizirov slander on this podcast today. All right, but
Fine.
I feel like I got into it because my mom, she took piano. She loved piano when she was younger. So it was kind of just like an easy segue for me. And then she also sang. So like those were, we
That's
always
awesome.
laugh at my dad. He's like, I could not, I have a family member who has like won a Grammy for writing. So yeah, super
Damn.
dope,
You
super
know that.
cool. But like my dad
Wait,
always jokes and says like, I wasn't me. I wasn't the person. Like if you're thinking it must have been Kate. No, it was not. It was not at all. My dad always jokes around and says, "Oh, you know, like I couldn't play the triangle. Like I would somehow find a way to mess that up. Like could not get the dings correct. Like would completely mess that up." So
Cowbell.
this man, we don't even know about that. This man has, he can enjoy music. He's not playing music. So
Yeah.
me and my mom have been the more musically inclined. But I mean, in growing up, I had, you know, with how my life's gone, big interest in psychology, big interest in going the music route. Like I thought about doing the production side of things. Usman and I met at school. We met at Drexel in the
Yeah.
city.
Oh,
So that's
okay,
how the
cool.
two of us became friends, just in going to the same shows and having the same group around us. But
That's awesome.
I ended up going to school for business, much like Us did. So
Yeah.
I didn't get to
That's
go that
awesome.
route of professionally, you know, studying music or really going the like, it sounds silly, but like the legitimate way of doing it. I feel like,
I hear you.
you know, nowadays you don't really need that. When I feel like we were in middle school and high school, you had to go through a record label. You had to get a record deal. You had to work with A&R, and now people are just going viral on the internet and releasing whatever they want, which is
And making constant Ed Sheeran covers every single day
and
for
making
however many
any
days.
Sharon
Exactly.
covers, which I think is an amazing thing. But for me, I think I realized I wasn't gonna go the route of making my own music, but it's something that to me has had such a major effect on my life and has pulled me,
Yeah.
like you said, of some very like dark spaces mentally throughout my life. And I feel like in that sense, I really owe a big piece of who I am today to music and to some of these
Yeah.
influences. So to be able to just sit and meet so many great people, like make so many new connections through the
Yeah.
music scene, like learn what people are doing, has really been amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's like it's interesting because so my family is actually like my brother and I are first generation in America.
Mhm.
My whole family's from like Ukraine, but my brother, I mean, like I said, like he had the guitar and like he can sing a little bit. Like he's not horrible. I'll give him that.
Not as good as you,
Like
but it's okay.
no, it's stop. Um, but like other than him, like the only person who has any musical like anything, like my grandfather used to, and it's probably where I get it from, he would just always walk around like humming, like at all times. Awesome humming voice. Never heard him like say a word when he sang. Um, but like that was it. And like my mom brings it up, like my grandma still brings it up all the time, where it's just weird. I'm also the only one in my family who has blue eyes. So somebody did something somewhere. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
mom. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
You
But
you
it's
stand as well. I
oh
understand, Dr.
my god. Did you see me? You saw me on stage. Did you see my dumbass little dance I was doing when I made the crowd sing? I was like, oh god, I'm
I
just
can see your
embarrassing on stage.
pleasure. I'm also 5 feet tall, so I can't see much of anything at these events, but
Hold on,
it's neither here
hold
nor there.
on.
Please enlighten us.
I'm gonna show you because I
Please
had
do.
a clip. Like, what is that? Like,
Well,
what is that?
you're good. That's so fun.
So, so comedy is by accident, if it ever is comedy.
I
Again, I cope through humor.
I think we all do.
I
Yeah.
think you'll do for sure. Uh,
For sure.
one thing I did notice was your album covers, both Legos characters, all of them. Is that by, I'm assuming by choice. Are you big like
Like,
Legos,
okay.
Lego guy?
So, not particularly. Actually, during COVID, as anybody did, they kept busy. So, like, I got like these like I'm a Boba Fett, like a Darth Vader, a Stormtrooper, all like big ass Lego sets, and did those. But that's the extent. Like, I played with them as a kid, and honestly, if you gave me one right now, I'd love it.
Yeah.
But I would say it's funny. I actually nobody ever asked what they meant, and I'm glad I can take a second to explain them. So this is kind of circling back to a conversation we just had, where like everything we go through kind of builds who we are. Like, yeah, I think you said the same thing, just now. Where the thing that inspired me to make those two EPs, other than making music my brother might actually listen to, is I think throughout that experience in that 6 months, I literally just was jobless and had to make ends meet and do everything I can to even just put a smile on my face. Like, I didn't even want to be around people because I didn't want to bring the whole room down. It was a lot. Um, so I knew I had to make a song or an EP for myself with, because I'm a sad boy. All my music is sad boy music. Um, and like for whatever reason, like maybe not for whatever reason, but like I'm struggling to like make happy music. So like for example, like Mirrors, it's a sad song, but I put drums to make it upbeat, so it's not sad, but it's still sad. But like it's something I'm like working on because like I can't relate to it at the moment. Like there's things that make me happy, but like
Yeah.
to a different extent.
Yeah.
So my experiences through that time and throughout my whole life have been building blocks. That's what Legos are. And while I had so each EP, one is upbeat because that's all that my brother listens to. He doesn't want to listen to any of my sad boy shit. Um, and then one is my sad boy shit, which is all like mostly acoustic except for like the Lotus House version. And then, well, the first one, 206, is technically upbeat, but it's like a low, like sad song. It has like the drop in it, but um, so I think the whole point of that, which I really could have summed up very quickly, was saying something can break you down, but then something can also build you right back up. And I think that's why I put two different projects out. One that had sad, slow music, and one that had upbeat, because you have to think on both sides sometimes. And even if you're sad, there might be times where you're happy while being sad, and then vice versa. And so I think music is one thing that can help you get away from that as well, and kind of put you in like kind of like, Kay, like you said, like it makes you appreciate the things, and like it's gotten you through a lot of things, right? So while music maybe that may be that for us, Legos can be like that for other people as well. And it's kind of just like using like metaphors inadvertently with those, where like the first like the music, my brother. I wish even like the acronym for that one was like not that long, but for the one that's music my brother might actually listen to, it's a big Lego man, woman, them, whatever it is, on the beach, like laying down. Um, but that was like an image I found on Google. Don't tell anybody because I hope I don't get sued for it. But like, um, I loved it because beach is supposed to be a happy place,
Mhm.
but the Lego person was just kind of plopped down like this, like alone. and
Yeah.
sad, but on a happy place, right? So kind of two worlds collide. So yeah. The second one for SSRIs was also a Google image. But that one felt more of just like sad plus sad rather than sad plus happy. Um, like the position of the person, it's a human body with a Lego head in fetal position inside of a cart.
Yeah.
And it's like that's and in the dark, and like that's kind of very easy way to be like that's what it feels like to be sad and anxious and depressed and stressed all the time, where it's like you're kind of just like sitting like this all the time, like you don't want to do anything else, and you feel like you can't even climb out of like a little cart. Granted, I've sat in carts many times when my mom went food shopping, and it's impossible to fucking get out of there because it just slides and shit. Like yeah, I don't know. So
Just like
literally and figuratively.
you were a child.
Okay, maybe.
I I just had some follow
I
up.
still get on that. Please, I still get on the end of the cart, and my mom's still whatever, but I'm a little heavier now, so I kind of go back with it, and then shit's all everywhere. It happens, all right? Leave me alone.
An experience when I was a child that has scarred me for life, where I vividly remember it was right after I saw Santa at the mall, and they had given us, I know, sad stuff. Santa,
This is gonna get scary.
it was sad. It has scarred me. I get on the escalator with my mom,
Mhm.
and there were so many people because it was around Christmas, so everybody's holiday shopping.
Naturally.
He had given us like, I don't know, a coloring book, winter themed, and they give us little crayons. I don't know. I have like a bizarrely good memory. I must have been like 6 years old. I dropped the red crayon. It was the red crayon. I dropped it, and my silly self as a toddler, before I can do anything about it, I like turned to go get it and like tumble like onto people beneath me. So that's just the story of why I'm afraid of escalators now, and I don't like getting on
My mom used to tell me that if I didn't like move my feet, that it would swallow me.
God,
So
that's worse.
thanks, mom. And guess what? Now I like hop and skip over, and I'm like, whoo, look at me go.
Well,
And now I just look like an idiot.
as long as you didn't tumble your way down as a child on top of people, I respect
Yeah.
that you're still pushing the cart and flying back off of it. That's maybe less embarrassing.
I don't know, because I'm 28
That's okay. It's fine.
and like not a small human being.
Don't worry. It's fine.
I mean, like even when I'm like behind the cart, like even dare I say by myself, and I'm like holding the cart, I still like Superman it. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
No, you gotta have
Maybe
it.
because then if I like fall and then I go, and then I'm like Spider-Man all of a sudden. We're going back, circling back to that story.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait. I feel like you're gonna be cast for a position in Spider-Man. Like at the
Yeah,
Walmart
but see, that's the same.
theater or something like that. I'm gonna be walking down the street and it's gonna be like, Steven Vizirov as
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
but here's the issue. Like, you can't cast somebody as Spider-Man if they have a Spider-Man. It's the same thing that like Ed Sheeran wouldn't like comment or repost if I had an Ed Sheeran tattoo. You
I-
know?
We don't know that. You'd be in the Spider-Man
Yeah.
suit, so we don't know that.
True. Yeah, but Peter Parker with a Spider-Man tattoo is like that's like sacrilegious. You can't do that. That's
Yeah.
like shitting where you shit. Sleep. One of those. Like, I don't know.
I you're counting yourself out too early for this. I think
Listen, if you
I don't know a guy. Like I don't have a guy that can cast you as Spider-Man, but you could maybe make it work. That's all I'm saying.
right behind Donald Glover, I'm here if you need me.
Maybe your song, one of your songs would be on the soundtrack of the Spider-Man movie.
That
Needless to say, I keep in check.
Yeah.
That would be sick. Metro just has to reach out to me, and I'll be like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That sounds more like what I would be like. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, right?
Mm.
So maybe not Spider-Man the person, but you're Spider-Man adjacent.
That all I can ask for, you know?
Yep.
I'd be thrilled.
Still success.
Yeah.
For sure.
Before we let you go, there's one more question that we typically ask every guest that joins the podcast. It's a two-part question. Um, First one being, what's the best advice that you were ever given, either personally or like professionally, as an artist, that you recommend to other people to take and go with? And the second question being, what's the best advice or what's the worst advice you've been ever given that you wouldn't recommend to anyone to take? Let's stay away from, essentially.
So I would say best advice, and actually I was at the barbershop the other day, and this young kid, he's like, oh, like I heard you made music, whatever. Like I'm trying. He's like 16. Like he was like recording on some like app, whatever, and like you couldn't even like get out of like what he was saying. And I was like, try it this way, try it this way. He's like, oh, like do you have any advice? He asked me that same question. I was like, honestly, like the fact that you even have something out is a good start. Like if you have something and you think it's like okay or whatever, like to be like 100% like honest, like even for me, like I can put whatever out and it doesn't mean anybody's gonna listen, but also doesn't mean that anybody's not gonna listen, or that could, like one person could be the one person to listen. So regardless, like having something to put out that you're proud of, not just yeah. So hold on, let me take that back for a second. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here. I think if you have a thought of putting something out, put it out. But make sure whatever you put out, you're proud of. Because if you don't like what you're gonna put out, then how are you expect anybody else gonna like it either? It's like a whole like how are you gonna like love somebody else if you don't love yourself? But like yeah. So I think that was a horrible way of telling that story and going into that, so I apologize. But I think like
Much sense.
Yeah.
yeah, so I would say like if you have something that you want to put out, the fact that you even want to put it out means you should put it out.
Mhm.
And if you're proud of it, even if it's shit, because I have stuff that I put out that I was like, oh, I love this, and now like I look back and I'm like, there's something for everybody. Um, First song I ever wrote or put out, published, because there's other songs, but like Riptide, I listen back at that song and I'm like, I just want to remove it from everywhere. But it's one of my most streamed songs and it comes up in conversation. My friends have an inside joke around it, which it's fine. But it's like there's so many people who are like, I still love that song, and I'm like, I don't. But it's just like, but like that's what it is. Like at one point, the same thing, like I live with no regrets because in that moment of whatever what I was doing in any situation, I did it for a reason or didn't do it for a reason.
Mhm.
So that was a very long answer to that first question. Pretty much to sum it up, TLDR it. Um, if you want to do something, do it because somebody else will love it, even if you eventually might not. That's horrible advice. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's funny.
To
That's true. I think it's good
Yeah,
advice.
that's really good advice.
to answer the other question, the worst advice. So here's something interesting. Like I think advice and opinions, like everything is so subjective that I genuinely don't think there's such thing as bad advice. Because if somebody gives you a piece of advice, it's based off of something they've seen or noticed. And while it may not apply to you, it may be something to keep in the back of your mind. I'm not saying like there's some shit that people give advice based on opinions, and I think that's different. Where I think that's where it differentiates it. But like I'm not saying if somebody says like stop doing music because that's not fucking advice. That's just being an absolute shitbag. And there's levels to this shit, right? So I genuinely like if the criticism you get or the advice you get has something behind it, like it's constructive, right? Like we've talked about that in school, we've done this, then there's no such thing as bad advice. If people just say something, that's not advice. And I think there's also a line that differentiates that as well, but I, this is me trying to be positive about things, guys. But like, I don't know. I think like people bring value in so many different ways. Excuse me, just burp. I think, yeah, I don't know. I think like the worst kind of advice is if it's not advice at all, and it's just like, and that can be good and bad. Like people can just give you a compliment and like, but like where can that compliment lead you? Like it's not like I really like this, keep that going, right? There's that add-on at the end, or there's like I don't like this, do this, or try this. I think so. Yeah, that's another really long answer to your question. Very complicated. I can't just be straightforward. Like I said, there's so much shit that I can't even like.
They're really good responses, though. Like I fully get what you're saying. I feel like, especially with how chronically online everybody tends to be nowadays. Like I saw a meme the other day where they were talking about like, do you remember having like a computer room when you were growing up where like you went to use the computer and there was dial-up and you couldn't use the phone, you couldn't use the landline.
Oh yeah.
And now it's different because now the internet's everywhere. The internet is,
and now we have incognito mode.
Right? Like,
sorry, that was a badge.
Internet is everywhere with you, all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it just, you get, it must be so much harder for celebrities and public figures where it's like you're like people are commentating on every single piece of
and everybody sees that shit. Everybody reads that shit.
And it's
like you've seen athletes too, like everybody.
It's so many people, and I feel like I saw something the other day that I wholeheartedly agree with about this exact situation where somebody said like it's not the happiest people, the people that are doing their own thing in life and just like forging their own path and like working on themselves. You don't tend to see them sitting there like talking trash on the internet. Like they don't have the time, they don't have the energy to try to bring other people down. So like that's kind of what that relates to in my mind is like I'm thinking of like the episode of The Office where Michael Scott's like, don't listen to your haters, listen to your fans.
I mean,
tell us all the garbage stuff that's out there because it might not really mean
exactly. And that's what it is. It's like if there's people who aren't supporting you, those are the people you don't need to surround yourself with. And I'm not saying like if your mom thinks your music is shit, which no mom would be like your music is shit. I mean, my mom would. Maybe some moms would, but bad moms. Actually, no, I can't say that. I shouldn't say that. I think that's kind of like my point, and like I appreciate you hitting on that because I'm a writer. I can't speak. Half the time I think in a different language, so it's like I can't even get that through. But like that's what it is. Like the person, like for example, I was shirtless. Somebody said put a shirt on. I was like, you're right. Like that wasn't hate. It was just like you're right. So crazy. Last week I got so much hate from everybody because I don't listen to like new music right away. I don't like watch like not like for any reason in particular. It's just like when I'm ready and like or like I just randomly stumble on it, I'll like give it a listen. So I finally like heard Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. And I was like, oh shit, banger. And I posted it. I said, holy shit, have you guys heard this? In a satiric, like, it's all satire. I know you fucking heard the song. And everybody's like, bro, you're 3 months late. I'm like, yeah, fuck off. So what I did was I posted a cover. And instead of being like, now he's, I go, now she's. And I put it. And of course, another YouTube fucking comment. Somebody goes, you couldn't be gay for one song and you had to change pronouns. I'm like, let me be. I'm just trying to relate to my life.
Please
let me be.
Oh my
And
god.
I woke up to that comment and I was cracking up because again, it was like that was just so funny.
Yeah.
And but like here's another thing, okay? So I sang this is really embarrassing, but like I live for like okay. I know we're so over and I feel so bad, but the last thing I'll say,
No,
I'll promise.
no, please.
Yeah.
So I played a coffee shop, and that's actually leading into something else that happened literally 10 minutes before we hopped on. I'll get to that in a sec. Um, I posted like, so one of my good friends, Nick, and his girlfriend, like, love coming to my shows, love my music, are always there. Her name's Kira. She'll also love this clip, because I'm shouting her out. But like, great people, like, support all the time. She always like records wherever I am, like, performing when she's there, which I love. So I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'll use this as content because why not? Right? This is good. Like, I'm playing out here, whatever. Long story short, I post a clip of me playing my latest single, Mirrors. And I'm like, yeah, it's not like my best, but like, I'm at a coffee shop. I'm literally sitting here like this, playing my guitar and singing it, like, punched, like, horrible, right? And I posted it at like 8 p.m. And I'm like an old man, so I fell asleep at like 9:30, as I typically do. Um,
Same.
and
Yeah.
Oh, it's great,
We're
but it's
all
horrible because I sleep like
fine.
shit. Yeah, yeah. So I woke up to a comment that goes like this, like verbatim: 3 out of 10, basic chords, and I'm like, not really, but kind of. Very nasally voice, and then like something else, and I literally burst out in laughter because like I wasn't like, oh, that's fucked up. I'll go like, damn, you're so fucking right. Like I listened back. I'm literally this is it. Hold on. So hold on. This is it. I'm literally sitting there like this. I've been feeling shivers in my bones. Like just like Jesus. It was just like I'm like, oh, you're so right. And I'm like and like I took it down because I'm like, Jesus Christ, like I was so bad. And because I listened back. And but like that's what it is. Like, yes, it's hate, but depending on how you look at it, it could be advice.
Mm.
And it's just like now I know like I gotta be like make sure that I'm doing my best at all times and not getting lazy. Not that I was, but like when you're singing for 2.5 hours, that happens. But so funny. But anyway, positive note to end on with that, even though that was so funny. Actually, I'll bring it up. It's really cool. So there was a family who stayed there for about same place I played coffee at. Shout out to my friend Cam who booked me there. It's at the Divine Lorraine Hotel called the Daily. There's a plug.
Yeah.
I got a DM and it was in like my hiddens because like I whatever. But this person reached out and goes, "Hi Steven, my family and I caught you at a coffee shop doing your thing. Anyway, my daughter sketched you while you played, and I thought you might dig it. So I didn't see that until like 10 minutes before. I was like, whoa, fan art, this is crazy." And I'm just thinking that. And I was like, holy shit, like I know exactly who they were because they were like asking me to play songs. Like they were like leaving, and then I started playing like Everlong, and he goes, "Oh wait, one more song." So like they sat down, like really nice people. And I go, "Oh my God, hello, just seeing this. I would love to see it." So he sent this picture of the drawing. And he goes, "It's cool, right? It's crayon, I think." I'll show you right now. And I'm like, oh shit, they got a little freckle too. It's a little bigger in the there, but it's cool. But like during the time they were there, like she drew that, like that's pretty. Like my nose is somehow bigger in real life, even though this is a really big nose. But I was like, like that's amazing. Like
Yeah.
that made me so happy. And like I had a really shit day today because not a lot's going on. And I feel alone and lonely. Same time. But like being on this and talking about everything and like meeting you guys is really cool. And then like seeing this, like it's like shit you can't buy. Like you can't, I don't know, you can't put a value on it. All right, I have one more story. Can I tell this story?
Of
Tell
course.
the story.
Please.
Okay, it's already an hour and a half in. I apologize.
No, go
But
for
this
it.
will be the last thing. So I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I had a callback for American Idol last week,
Holy.
which is really cool.
Oh
Yes.
my god. That's amazing.
No, really cool. So like long story short, a couple months ago, my stepdad was like, just send something in online, like whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people are like sending whatever. So I sent 30 seconds of me playing, like literally on this couch, my song La Jolla. Um, that was May 5th. I looked at it today. July 19th, I get a, hey, our producers want to meet you and have you on a call back on Zoom. I was like, oh, what the fuck? So I did it. Um, I'll cut through the thing, but essentially, I hop on there. There's like 6 people, and I might get emotional with this because I got off of this audition, bawling my eyes out to my mother. There's your little clickbait, because you don't know which way this is gonna go. So I started this off with my song "Float," which I played. That's when I asked everybody to bring the flashlights out at MilkBoy, if you guys remember. And I started with that because it shows my full vocal range, whatever. So they were like, "Oh, like that was great. Can you do another song? And can you do the song that you sent in?" I was like, "Oh, like yeah, I sent in La Jolla, which is my song too." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, yeah. So I'm playing the song, and I like forgot that like I tuned it, dropped D on like the low E string, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I got to retune it real quick." And I'm like, "Oh, God, this is going great." Um, I retune it. I sing until the pre-chorus, and I get really emotional because that song means a lot to me. If you heard it, you'd understand why. And so I started getting emotional. I had to like stop myself in the middle of it. But and like so I got emotional on stage when I played at MilkBoy. I get emotional every time I play just because like I don't know, it just has that effect, whatever. Um, I was like shit, like I didn't say shit because that would be bad, but like I was like, oh, I'm so sorry guys, like I had to take a second. They're like, no, 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 by all means, it's okay. So I finished until the end of the chorus, and I stopped myself because like you know how they're like stop. They didn't do that. I was like, should I keep going? You want me to stop? The one guy jumped in and goes, oh, that's okay. And one of the producers hopped in and literally was like, no, please keep going. I was really enjoying that. And
It's amazing.
And so the reason I get emotional is because everything I told you guys from before, right? Um, sorry. Um, sorry, guys.
I'll be.
You're good.
Imagine now in the middle of an American Idol audition, I was doing this.
We're not
Um,
American Idol, but
no. But like, imagine like I'm in the middle of singing, like trying to get my spot. This happens. So that part made me really emotional because like with all the stuff that's been going on with work, with everything else, like everything doesn't feel like it's going right. Like I like, for example, because my work, the last place I was at full time was like very toxic. It made me feel like shit, and it made me feel like I didn't know what I was worth anymore. So I work in fear. I'm like trying to get that confidence back. For someone not only who commented saying, cut off one of the producers saying, no, keep going because I was singing, but also like saying that they enjoyed that and it was my song. I finished that entire song. And then they asked me to sing another song on top of that. I sang Lewis Capaldi after that. But like this person has been working there for God knows how long. She was at, a very long time. They picked me out of hundreds of thousands just from like a little clip. And then she wanted me to keep singing. And she probably was throughout that week or that whole day was listening to so many other people sing. That meant so much to me that it was like that one moment of real happiness that I haven't felt in such a long time of somebody who actually appreciated and like made me feel good about something I was doing. And it made me feel great because I worked so fucking hard on so many levels to get to that. And again, it's going back to that where like if you didn't really think that, you wouldn't have said that. Same if Ed was not going to ever comment, kind of like that. So, um, and then they were like, I was like, guys, I'm so sorry. Like again, like I played the whole fucking song, and they're like on a time constraint. It was really nice. Um, jeez. Um, and they was like, oh, like why, like I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I get emotional. Like I was getting like tears. They were like, oh, like thank you for sharing your tears. I was like, oh my god, stop. But again, like I don't know how if I'm even supposed to be telling you guys any of this. But it meant so much to me, and it was just that's like why I do it. And I think that's a good place to stop rambling because I can talk forever, as you guys can probably find out now. But yeah, it's just really nice to feel that and how that happened. So hopefully, I get a call back again and you'll see me with the golden ticket and whatever. But
Yes. No, I think
yeah,
it's so amazing that you've shared all this with us. Like, thank you for being
yeah,
so vulnerable and open. And
always,
I
always.
think it's just, at least for me, the way that I have felt about a lot of similar things is like,
Mhm.
even if I'm not having a bad day, like to know that if I can bring joy elsewhere, like that's enough. And that's like a reason to do it. And I feel like
Yeah,
you got some big things ahead of you for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if you're hearing back from the people over at American Idol, but
Yeah.
regardless, that is like a huge, huge accomplishment for these
yeah,
people that
I
are
appreciate that.
in showbiz, and that's their whole job, and they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, and yeah, and just to hit off that, like like I said, like I had a decently shit day today. Like coming
Mhm.
on, meeting you guys, and like talking with you, like that made everything great because I've had a fun time rambling about myself.
Us
Very selfless of
too.
me, right?
Us too. No, it was amazing. It was
No,
amazing
but
to meet.
no, but I mean, even having like you guys have me on here, that means the world to me because again, you didn't have to do that, and I genuinely appreciate that. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Of
This
course.
is
Yeah, thank you for being
amazing
on.
conversation.
We'll
Uh,
have to have you back. This will be the first round of podcasts, and then
I
we'll
would
have you
love.
back in a couple of years
yeah.
when you're on with
Listen.
Ed Sheeran talking about your song with him, right?
It's,
Can you imagine? I mean, insane.
I feel like
Oh,
I think it could happen.
we
Don't
had
count yourself out.
like a running list now of guests we had on the podcast who have like their inspirational artists that they look up to. And like the goal, I think, would be to have them back on with their expiring artists.
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
That'd be kind of dope. But
I'd
So
be like, "Oh, mate," and I'd be like, "Demand them to consider a 5-star hotel smoke."
no.
At that point, it's gonna be me and Dave instead. Insane. No, but no, that would be amazing. I would call you guys up first and be like, guys, it happened. Can we
It
hop on?
happened.
And you'd be like, no, we don't like you.
Oh my God. No. No, you better call us. We better be able to break the story first out of
Yeah.
everybody, okay?
No, by all means, I would be honored. I would
Well,
be honored.
us
Yeah,
too. Thank you so much for being on with us, Steven
yeah,
Vizirov. Again, feel free, tell the people where they can find you, where they can find what you're doing, your music.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, my last name is pretty hard to spell and
I got it
say,
right.
but
I
it's
did it.
you did, yeah.
That's what I read your website before this, so
Phonetically. Yeah, Uzman, you're on my shit list. Like, get it fucking right, bro. Like, come on, get your shit together. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you can find me. It's the same at and username everywhere: TikTok, Instagram. Uh, I don't think Hinge has usernames, but you
oh,
probably couldn't find me on there anyway. Um, but but it's at Steven Vizirov, so StevenVizirov. So that's Steven V as in Victor, I Z as in zebra, IROV as in Victor. There you go. But yeah, hopefully new music soon. Playing anywhere that takes me. But yeah, I have nothing to plug because I just am me.
well, perfect. We can't wait to hear the new tracks, hopefully coming soon. And thank
Yeah.
you again for being with us today.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
well,